Hey guys, Saint Zany here with another episode of Bonsai Apprentice, and today we're going to be air layering my Japanese maple here. We're going to be air layering in this section, and then also in this section. So, I wanted to just start off by talking about what I'm doing differently this time versus the other air layer I did. Which if you haven't checked that video out, please do on my juniper. It's a good video. It's helpful and informative as well. So things we're doing differently though, and it's going to be kind of like a more normal air layer. I'm using plastic that I've got from just a convenience store, plastic baggie that I've cut up. We're using a razor blade again, but the thing that's different is that in the sphagnum moss that we're using today, we're going to be mixing in some growth hormone. And the reason for this is because it's going to help it root better. Long term, it's going to help it close up quicker. I don't want it to bleed out too much. So in that regard, we're going to be taking precautions and just making sure that we can try and get this to root as quickly as possible and to callus over as quickly as possible. So without further ado, let's jump to, I'm going to flip the camera around. Please leave a like, share, subscribe. If you want to, donate to my GoFundMe. Oh my gosh, links in the description, and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. So let's flip it around. I'll show you how I'm going to mix in the sphagnum moss, how I'm going to be cutting this. I'm going to do all the prep work first. That way I can just throw it up so the maple doesn't bleed too much, okay? So let's flip it around and show you what it looks like. All right, guys, so I got my wet sphagnum moss here. So it's been soaking. It's absorbed all the water. One thing I will say is I'm going to wear gloves for this part because it's windy. I'm sorry, guys. The grow. So this is what I use, and it works really well, but it also can cause skin irritation, and I personally don't want just a whole bunch of chemicals all over my hands either. So in the bucket, I'm just going to add a little bit, you know, like a decent amount, but not overflow the thing or anything like that. It's in there, and I'm just going to stir it up, get it all over that sphagnum moss. Okay, now what I'm going to do on our plastic baggie, I'm going to throw some of that moss. I'm just weighing it down right now because of the wind. It is windy out today, that is for sure. We have some rain blowing in, which is why I want to get this done now. So, you know, take a good handful. I'm just going to put it on the baggie and kind of have enough around in a circle. Put a little bit more on this one. You know, so when we take it, when we have the branch, right, where we want to air layer it, we're just going to cup it and it's going to tie it down with some wire. Okay. And then from there, it'll just hold and hopefully air layer off at that point. So you're going to do the same thing. We got our box cutter. Okay. So I'm going to go about here. And then I'm going to go about here. All right. So I'm going to give quite a decent chunk of room. Okay. So I'm going to air layer off that. I'm going to cut that, ring it, take it all the way down to the bark. To the hardwood inside. And then I'll show you guys that I'm just going to, you know, wrap it and do what I can. So let me set the camera down and I'll get that going. So you see where I've cut it right here. For some reason it isn't focusing, but I've cut it right here. You can see it. It's nice and sharp. The wind keeps blowing my camera over, guys. I'll tell you what, it's kind of a pain in the ass. So I've got my sphagnum moss wrapped up. I got my wire ready to go. Like I said, you just want to be ready for all of this. It is bleeding just a little bit, which again is to be expected. So just wrap it up. Make sure the sphagnum moss is nice and tight inside the bag. I'm going to try to avoid these other branches as best as possible here. I'm just going to tighten it up. Make sure it's pressed against that, nice. It's not too open or anything. And then we're just going to tie it down towards the top to kind of hold it in place here for a sec. And then we're just going to take the wire. We're just going to go and just real tight all over. Holding it nice and tight, squeezing out. You know, we're going to lose some moisture. That's okay. You know, we'll just have to continue to water this as it goes. I'm going to put those there. Cut the wire. So, I don't know if you guys saw me do that. I had to go pretty quick. But now you can see that the bag is there. The sphagnum moss is held against the tree. The wire is just wrapping, holding it nice and tight against the tree. And we should be in pretty good shape from that one, okay? So I'm going to do literally the same process right in here, right in this branch. We're going to go do literally the same process of, you know, ring barking about an inch, maybe even a little more. So maybe like move it down just about there. But we're going to do the same process, and I'll come back and show you guys what I got. All right, guys, so same process on this one. I went, cut the circle, and then, you know, down to the hardwood, through the cambium, made it real tight with the sphagnum moss and the plastic, wrapped it in wire. Same thing over here. So those are my two. So if they don't take, that's, you know, I'll let you guys know too. But what I kind of want my tree to be at the end of the day is this right here. So that would be like the back, and this would be the side. So I want to leave, you know, maybe some more of those to layer off later. But really what I want to do is start making this the apex, and I got some buds coming out this year down here. I got these two branches here. So I kind of just want to encourage that growth, air layers off. I think these two will just make splendid trees long term. Their taper's good. They look good. So I think, you know, we're looking at what could possibly in a couple years be a really good tree, or, you know, a feeder tree that continues to give me air layers in the years to come. So, you know, if I like let this one grow and this one grow and this one grow and these grow, you know, I could just continue to take air layers off and continue to make trees out of this tree. So I'll keep you guys updated on what it ends up doing, but I think it's going to go well. So thanks for checking this video out. And without further ado, like, follow, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'm staying more on track with my videos. It's been busy, but, you know, that's spring and bonsai for you. So without further ado, sayonara.